say you. Don't worry.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hi.
And I'm the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore.
All right, folks. Well, it's another day. We're moving on in April. We're getting closer and closer to getting that studio that we're moving into. We should be able to have some dates, hopefully, by next week of when the move will occur. So keep in mind that when that happens, we'll be offline for a couple weeks, as the move is not a simple thing to do. And we want to move right. Like, we want to make sure that the studio's moved in and all the wiring's done and everything like that. But things are looking up. Let's see. It's a good week, I guess. There's good things going on. Let's get started with some contributors here. Did I let you guys introduce yourselves?
Yes, sort of. Yes, we said who we were.
Okay.
Who are you?
Yeah,
who are you?
Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
I don't know who you
right.
are.
I'm a little forgetful today. Well, let's get started with some contributors, and we'll be back with the news.
Coffee, good.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
Today we're talking about Tiny Epic Pirates. This is the new one from Gamelin Games and the Tiny Epic line. And this is all about the pirate's life for me.
Pirate's life for me. Actually, this game is really just a pick up and delivery game.
Yeah.
I mean, at its core, that's what it is. You're picking up from the people you're stealing from, and then you're selling from the people that they were originally going to deliver to anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's great. It's a pick up and deliver game.
You take that and then you turn into gold, and you turn that gold and you bury that treasure, because that's what pirates do.
Yeah, so it's a race game too.
Yeah, it's the first one to bury 3 hoards of treasure wins the game. This one was, we've been going through all the Tiny Epic games. This one was a lot of fun for me. It felt like a smaller, condensed version of like Firefly, the game. Pick up and deliver. You're running away from pirate or from ghosts ships. You're running away from the Royal Navy.
Yeah.
It was a fun game for me.
So last time when we had done a Tiny Epic, I talked about the book Atomic Habits, and I'm going to carry on from there. One of the things that you do to create better habits, or tiny habits, is pair it with something you're already doing. So I have started doing tricep dips every time I'm done walking or running, and it's become so much now that when I come back, like when I go for runs on my work on my lunch break, and I come back and I don't even go inside, I go straight to the bench and I just do it, because you're pairing these habits together. So I really hope you like hearing about tiny habits, because there's more where that came from.
All right, you guys, we had a lot of fun with this one. Eventually, we're going to do a full ranking of all the Tiny Epics, so be sure to check that out when the time comes.
All right, everybody, this is Ryan. I'm Bethany. Hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms work together. Today we're looking at Blue's Clues, Find the Clues. And let's take a look and see how it works. We'll come back, and I'll tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. The first thing you're going to do on a turn is you're going to flip over one of these clue tiles. This is going to give you the first clue. Each one is going to be a different room in the house. Then whatever room card you turn over, you're going to turn over a color of handy-dandy notebook card. In this case, you have bubbles. We have bathroom and bubbles. Then you're going to look here on your board, on your player board, and find out where you can find a bathtub and bubbles. So the bathtub, bubbles, maybe that's where it would be at, and you would look in that area. Then you can look at the board here, and you can try to figure out, well, here's bubbles and the bowl. So there's the bowl, there's a bubble. You can see that. So there's a car. What would that be? That might be to clean the car. So, is it bath time? Is that what you're looking for? No. Is it a car wash? Yes. And then if you're correct, you'll be able to keep this for your point that you'll need later on in the game to win. Now, I think it was really hard for a 3-year-old to be able to deduce that all together and put it together, but that's kind of what you're doing here. Whoever's able to collect the most of these spirals, once all of them have been chosen, is the winner of the game. This is a rare feat, so the IP actually fits the mechanisms pretty well. On Blue's Clues, you're looking for clues. This one, you're giving clues, and you find the clues, and you have to kind of figure out the mystery of what's going on, which usually comes from what happened from the clues, right? And this is all in this game. Yet, the game is very hard for younger players. They recommend this at 4 years of age, and I think kids who are fans of Blue's Clues probably starts about 1.5, 2 years old to be watching Blue's Clues up a little bit, but there is a point where a kid will outgrow it. I think this game is hard for those. I think it works better cooperatively. There are no rules. It's a competitive game. I think it works better like that. The IP absolutely matches what you're doing in the game. I just think it's a little too hard for little kids. For that, I have to say it accomplishes its goals, but it ended up being a bust for us. So Blue's Clues, Find the Clues, miss.
Bye, love you. Have a good trip. Bye. Bye. Drive safe. Bye. It's spring break. They're leaving. You know what that means? That means for the whole entire week, we can.
Well, you know that had to happen. So this week, my wife and daughter are down in Florida visiting with my mother and my sisters for spring break, and the boys weren't invited. But that's okay. That means I get to dedicate some time this week to producing some fun content for Board Game Breakfast. And I'm going to start with some solo games. See, I was kind of inspired by Mike Delicio's top 50 solo games from the Spring Spectacular series. And mostly because a lot of the games that he talked about are sitting right here in the shelf behind me, and I either did not remember or didn't even know that they had solo modes to them. So I'm going to check a couple of those out. I'm also going to delve into a couple other games that either I like to play solo or also recently learned of their solo modes. And I'm about halfway through my time, so let me start with the first one. Now, I recently produced a segment for Obsession here on Board Game Breakfast, and in an unusual turn of events for me, I'm actually filming this before that segment has even aired. But I didn't get a chance to talk about the solo modes. Yes, modes. So let's do that now. The base game of Obsession comes with a solitaire mode. Now, this mode simply simulates another player taking tiles from the builder's market and provides scores to compare against during the courtship rounds throughout the game. It also provides a stack of cards for a variety of target scores, with varying degrees of both game length and difficulty. But if you pick up the Upstairs Downstairs expansion for Obsession, you'll get the rules for the Solo Estate Challenge. This provides specific requirements that the player must meet in a set number of turns while reducing some of the luck with the builder's market by making all the tiles available at the start of the game. This method is a greater challenge for players as it requires very efficient gameplay. Both of these solo modes are very streamlined, with little more to do than rolling a single die and removing a tile from the builder's market based on the value shown. So if you're looking for a fast, downtime-free game of Obsession, the solo modes are the way to get it. That'd be my spring break treat ready for me in the oven. I'll see you soon. Cheers.
And we are back. Me, Mr. Bonagor, Mr. Garcia, back with the board game news of the week as of April 15th, 2021. Let's get started here. There's an expansion coming for Marvel Villainous. So Marvel Villainous, which is not compatible with Disney Villainous, now has its own expansion. The first Marvel Villainous came with, I think, 3 bad guys. There was Thanos. You know, for the life of me, I can't remember the other 2.
It might have been 4. It's possible there were 4. Thanos, Killmonger, Hela, I think.
Right.
And Ultron?
I don't remember. But yes, that does sound right. There might have been 4. Well, now there are 2 more coming where we have Loki.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see. And Madam Mask and MODOK. Oh, I guess there's 3 in there. That's kind of weirdly written. Yeah, 2 to 3 players. So it's
What's
Loki.
the difference between the games, if I may ask? Because I played Villainous. I never played Disney Villainous. I never played Marvel.
It's not that they're not different. They're pretty much the exact same game. It's just that they're not compatible.
Like power levels and things. And
Yeah, there's a few things that are slightly different, so they don't necessarily work together. Oh,
Okay.
I remember why. Because you're playing against a single good guy deck,
Okay.
like the Avengers. So you're playing against the Avengers. You can't mix that with Marvel really the same way.
Okay.
Although it would be fun to see the Avengers fight against Cruella DeVille.
That would be awesome.
She's like, I'm going to
You
steal
love-
your dogs. Iron Man's like, no, you're not. Boom. Movie's over.
Well, you love that mixing and matching world stuff, Tom.
Well, I'm not upset that they're not doing that. In fact, if you think about it, Villainous doesn't actually mix and match the worlds anyway. Each player is playing in their own world. The good cards played on you come from your world.
Which is why I think the Marvel one makes more sense, because you can mess with each other in the same universe. It's a little more less of a logical leap, and I like that.
Cool.
All right, next we have from Renegade and Oni Games, Agretsuko Work/Rage Balance. Agretsuko. Is that? Anyway, this
That's all right.
I never knew who this character was till she showed up in Funkoverse. So I went and looked up, and apparently she is someone who gets really angry while at the office, and then does heavy metal on the side, something to that effect.
That
Okay.
sounds great.
The game sounds like it has nothing to do with that theme at all.
I do like the tagline, work, rage, balance. Now I understand what it means. Very cool. Otherwise, don't know about it.
Was that something you dealt with when you were on Wall Street?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. Work, rage, balance. Yes, indeed.
Anyway, it sounds like an interesting card shedding game, but I'm gonna have to see it to see how different it is than the other ones that exist.
Yeah, the game that the two designers came out with before for Renegade was that Gudetama, the Tricky Egg card game, is a terrible, terrible game. So hopefully this is better than that and not as much of a not so close to a classic card game as the other game was, which was just a traditional card game basically.
Well, I bet most people did not know that April 12th to 16th this week is Black Hole Week from NASA. They wanted it to be black holes everywhere. In fact, they emailed me and asked me to do a top 10 list of games with black holes, and I told them I could only think of one game. I mean, there's games that have like a black hole maybe in the background somewhere, but there's not many.
I actually did know that because I follow space.com. It's great a place for great space articles. But did they really ask you to do that? I mean, NASA
person affiliated with NASA talked to me about it. And
person
said
that I know, person that I know from the cruise. No, okay.
I don't remember. I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Anyway, so the one game I could think of was Gravwell, and oddly enough, they just announced a new edition of Gravwell from Cora Young. This was actually, if I remember correctly, this is one of the first games Renegade did. This is one that when Renegade initially was part of Cryptozoic, and when they broke off, Gravwell was one of the games they kind of took with them. And so I like this game. It's a very unique game. It's a racing game where you're kind of using gravity of other ships to kind of force yourself away from the black hole.
Yeah, it's got some really cool slingshot mechanisms, right? It's a neat game, cool design, and a great new cover.
Very nice.
That's Quanchi Mori, right? That's what it looks like.
It is, yeah.
All right, Luma, who people still probably don't, is not a household name, but they bring in quite a few games to North America, and now they're bringing in sit-down games, which I just reviewed one of their games last week, Dive, and of course their most popular game probably Magic Maze. So this is good. I'm glad to see these games coming straight to America. Was sit-down originally with Asmodee?
I don't know if they ever were. I'm not sure if they ever were, and then weren't anymore. They're one of those companies I can think of a few other games, but they've always kind of been hard to get, except for at Essen. So this is great, but I'm uncertain about that.
Speaking of Essen, there's two big fairs that happen each year in Germany. Essen is the one that's open to the public, or it's actually called the Spiel in Essen.
Sure.
And the other one, which we call Nuremberg, but it's actually the Spielwarenmesse, or Spielwarenmesse.
Spielwarenmesse.
I'll go with that. This is in the city of Nuremberg, Germany, and this is a trade only. It's very comparable to the New York Toy Fair.
Yeah.
In fact, just like the New York Toy Fair, it's not just about games. There's tons of toys there also.
Right.
This was originally postponed to July. It's usually in January, February. But they just canceled that, and they're just moving it to February of next year.
Yeah, sad. Again,
at some point, we'll tell you a convention has happened on this show.
No, but this is fairly big. Most American publishers don't go to this, but as the New York Toy Fair is very big period for the greater game and toy industry, this is the same for the Europe's toy industry. So
Did you
shame
ever
that
go?
they're postponing. I have never been. And the only reason I never went, because a lot of people don't get a booth, but they go to take meetings. They'll just, have a meeting schedule, and they'll take meetings with their German and European partners. But, since we have the Gathering of Friends, where a lot of them obviously go, so we see them at the same time a year, 6 months after Essen. And of course, you have technology to work with. There was no reason to go. I've always wanted to, and who knows, maybe in the future I will.
All right, now there's a new version of Flux called Wonderland Flux. Although when I first saw this cover, I thought it said Wonder Plant. No, because that R goes down into the X. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's about Alice in Wonderland, and this is a short run release. It's going to be out very quickly. I think it was specifically requested by Books A Million. So they asked for an Alice in Wonderland themed Flux. Andy Looney said, "Of course I have one of those."
Of course he does. He has one of anything. You name the topic, they will give it to you.
50 versions of Flux, I think. So,
wow.
All right.
One of the biggest IPs out there. They've made a tremendous amount of money making these Fluxes.
All right, Bloomberg Business Week is a big newspaper for those wanting to know about business things. And I love this headline, not as much as Mr. Bonacker liked it.
Oh, this is great. This was just absolutely fantastic. The company quietly building a board game empire with Catan, Pandemic, and Ticket to Ride. So, right, this is an article in Bloomberg Business Week, one of the top business periodicals of all. And they're talking about this small, little-known company, Asmodee, who's cornering the market with a series of acquisitions since 2007. So I think it was great that you found this one, Tom. I'm gonna dig deep into this.
Someone else found it, but yes, I did find it interesting. They were talking about Eurazeo, the company that owned it.
Eurazeo.
They bought it and sold it. They made a huge amount of money on that, buying and then selling this thing. In the time that they owned it, they made several $100 million from the sale.
Wow.
Yeah. So with a privately held company of the size of like an Asmodee, it is very common for one venture capital firm to own them or own a very large portion of it. And then after a more or less predetermined amount of time, 3 to 5 years, they sell that company to another venture capital firm, usually of a larger size. And that's exactly what happened with Asmodee. I thought that it was sold fairly quickly. It was even less than a 3-year ownership. Maybe it's around 3 years. And yeah, they made several $100 million. Asmodee is now valued because that flip occurred from Eurazeo to PAI. I think that's what it is. They make board games and cookies, apparently. Ignacy tells me it's a cookie company as well.
That sounds like an amazing company.
Yeah, right. And the value of the company was they sold it for $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. So Asmodee is a player of global significance, obviously, in board gaming, not just hobby gaming, in board gaming.
It's definitely an interesting article. It's not all just a spin positive thing. So check it out. They talk about, some of the problems that store owners have with this. So it's interesting.
I will.
Board Game Atlas is starting a new critic review feature. Essentially, they're trying to be, what's the online site that does this for movies? It's not Rotten Tomatoes. No, it's not Rotten Tomatoes. It's Metacritic.
Metacritic, yeah.
Yeah, so basically they'll have in like a user score and then a top critics where people who they consider to be top critics, you can compare them and look at reviews of games, and it puts them all in one place. It's an interesting idea. You have to get a lot of top critics in. The only problem I see with this is there's going to be some games that very few people have reviewed.
Are you a critic on this site?
They have asked me to be, yes.
So obviously you're not a top critic yet since you're not on the site. I just want to point that out.
What?
You're not a top critic because you're not on the site. You're not.
That's fine. I don't need to be one. Reventure.
What are you talking about?
Huh?
What is the so they're just going to be they're going to be an IMDb for board games? I mean, you're going to be able
Well,
more
to
like-
no, an IMDb is more
Well,
like Board
okay.
Game Geek right now. This is more like again a Rotten Tomatoes or
Okay.
a review aggregate site is what
So-
they're trying to do.
So they're just going to have and then you'll be a top reviewer because you've reviewed the most number of people who liked your reviews and stuff like that.
They say basically you can apply to be one of those quote unquote top reviewers.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, Board Game Geek is this. I mean, I'm no offense to Board Game Atlas. I'm sure they're going to do a great job with whatever they put out here, but I don't see a need for a separate site unless I'm getting it wrong.
This is different. Board Game Geek gives you what the general public thinks of something.
Okay.
But like on a review aggregator, you might see like people might say, "Oh, Fast and Furious was the best movie. It got some high rating from the community," but the critics are going to pick some other movie, likely. Now with board gaming, I think there's going to be a less of a difference between the top critics and the general public.
Right.
But the top critics may still pick a game that just hasn't been out there as much. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But I think it's a neat idea if they can pull it off.
Okay. Let's see how it works. You're still not a top critic.
I wasn't arguing that point.
Am I a top critic?
Yes, Steve, you are.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
All right. Reventure is a video game whose sequel will be a board game. So that's a new one for me.
Okay.
Now this is coming to Kickstarter, so you can it will come out later this month. So I guess we'll talk about it when it's more on Kickstarter. But I thought it was interesting that this is like a sequel from this indie studio Pixelato. I've not even heard of Reventure, but I guess there's enough. Actually, when I looked at the game, I thought that might be a game that I would play on the computer.
It looks really cute. I wonder how much, usually sometimes we'll see a little card game or something and we think, wow, this is making a lot of money. And you look a little deeper and realize, oh, it's based on something, right? It's based on a comic strip or a video game or something. So I wonder how well this will do being based on a video game. Now, I've not heard of the video game, but that's not saying much. It might be extremely popular. So this is one to keep an eye on just to see that effect, see how well it does. It looks really cute. And I love that studio's name, Pixelato. Are you kidding me? That's great. Sounds tasty and chic.
All right. Now we have Whirling Witchcraft.
Oh
This
my.
is coming from AEG. That's a tough cover.
You don't like it?
You don't like that cover?
It looks like a kid's novel. I like that cover. Yeah, it's all right.
I like the coloring of it. It's just okay. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, it's a 2 to 5 player game, and it looks like. At first, I thought it was a card game, but that looks more like a straight up board game collecting. I mean, the cube thing. It looks a little boring in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
But there's drafting and passing ingredients around. It sounds like the game might be pretty fun, and AEG has a really good track record at the moment.
Very good track record.
Is this a kid's game? Why do I feel like it's a kid's game? It's not really, right? They're not saying that anywhere.
I don't know why you thought it was a kid's game.
It looks like a kid's cover, I think is why. You're saying you don't like the cover, and I do like it, but I think it's putting me in a mind space that this is a children's thing.
All right.
And I think that's my disconnect there. It just looks like a kid's thing, but then I look at the game and I go, oh, this is boring for kids. Well, it's not for kids. I'm making that assumption. But, there's a mismatch there. It's not unattractive, but it really looks like a cover for a kid's book, doesn't it? I mean...
Sure. I'm digging the cauldrons. They're like pop-up cardboard cauldrons. I love
that's true. I like that. Yes.
That's really neat. I think this is gonna actually get, just based on the look and where I think this it's gonna be a fun thing.
All right, so Matt Leacock, who's the designer of Pandemic, has been doing multiple interviews around the internet and giving out more information on his upcoming game, Daybreak. He's co-designing this with Matteo Menapace, or Menapace, Pace. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. But this is based on, climate control and global warming and things like that. He says it was originally designed and then became Pandemic Legacy. And then he went back and is starting it over again. The picture you can see here is a very, very prototypey picture. So we'll have to wait and see. The publisher is CMYK, which
is a great name. That's
no, it's
Colors in Printing. That's
no, they made so CMYK is the publisher that made Wavelength. They made the party game Wavelength. That's what they're most, and Monikers. Probably Monikers. They might be more well known than Wavelength. Okay. And the Fuzzies, which is a game in which you take tweezers and move little fuzzy pieces to the top. Anyhow, so they're a party game company. They have some pull. Wavelength definitely did decently on Kickstarter. So we'll have to wait and see that this is not a party game, though. It's the very opposite of a party game. I'm curious, and how do I phrase this so I don't step on a landmine here? I'm curious if this game will be as popular as Pandemic, because while I think the world would unite behind stopping pandemics, people's opinions on this subject are more diverse and varied.
Right. I'll give you a way to
put it.
No, it's a very politically correct way of saying it. I'll give you a corollary to that exact thing. When we did CO2, which was about changing from polluting energy to green energy, there were dozens of people that immediately rated it a 1 because they said global warming and this doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. I'm rating it a 1. I'm like, but it's okay for you to play games with orcs and trolls, and the concept of that is so dumb. But hey, I'm not going to go too far there. The point here is that it's a topical. It's very topical. It's a topic that we see and talk about daily in the news. A game about it is a good thing. I think this.
Oh no, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying I think it won't sell as much because of that.
I think it'll be controversial. Just like you said, it'll be controversial, but it shouldn't be. It's a thing that we talk about. And Leacock has got chops as good as any designer. I think he'll do a great job with this. And I really look forward to seeing, how this thing plays out. And he's now known as the, save the world guy, I guess. So this is going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Eagle-eyed people who watch this sort of thing have noticed that Stonemaier Games got the trademark for Libertalia. I don't know who's checking these things, but that's good news. I like Libertalia a lot. Love to see a reprint of it.
It's interesting that you would even trademark the name Libertalia if you're just moving it over to another company after rights change. That's uncommon that you'd have to go trademark the name unless they're doing some other crazy things with it. But sure, Libertalia is a nice game. I have it. I haven't played it in years. But interesting.
Well, it's not coming out this year. I know this because Jamie Stegmaier just released the stakeholder reports for Stonemaier Games, in which he told everyone he's quite poor since his 3-employee company has only had a revenue of $17.9 million in the year 2020. Now, just before people go too bonkers over that, that's revenue. That's not profit. But I think we can all read into the lines that the profit can't be too horrible from that.
I think we can all assume he doesn't cut his own hair. Is I think what you're getting.
But he does say that most of the profit goes back into the company. But anyway, the point of this is he's really open about his numbers, which almost no board game company is.
But let me make the point here that I love Jamie, awesome, and if he wants to put out his numbers like this, God bless. Go for it. I see no real reason for privately held companies to do this on this specific a scale. Giving generalizations is one thing, but he does this. Steve Jackson Games does this.
Steve Jackson has to because of the shareholder report. They have to give out some. They have shareholders.
No,
they don't.
They do not. They're not a publicly held company. If they have. No, first of all, no, they do not. I happen to know that specifically that Steve owns 100% of the company. The
report reads like that's the way it is. What do you write?
Because Steve likes to do that.
I was deceived.
It's the same thing. He just it's to his shareholders are his people, his game buyers. And this is similar to what Jamie's doing, and there's nothing wrong with doing it. I as a business person would never put out numbers that are this, like we made this much money or we've got this much. It's interesting to me to see any privately held company do it. We go look at CMON because it's really cool because they are publicly held, and we can analyze those figures to really small details, doing ratios and things like that on the company, and we can invest in that company. I'm just surprised at the amount of transparency that he would like to provide.
But I'm saying, as someone who's reporting on the news, this is great for me.
It's wonderful because I'm going to be talking about this for quite a while on Board Games Insider and here.
More interestingly, it tells us how many of these games sold. So that's pretty interesting. So, for example, Pendulum, he gives like total numbers, and then he gives out how many they sold last year. And he only talked about his biggest games. Yeah, I think so. The game that sold the most is Wingspan. It sold 750,000, which, just to point out, even though that's a ton, we were just talking about Asmodee, Azula sold over 2 million. Ticket to Ride has sold 6-7 million. Catan over 10 million.
The Wingspan sales are unbelievable because it's only. Also have to remember it's only a couple of years old, so it sold last year alone 750,000. That doesn't count the year before.
No, that wasn't last year.
Wasn't that just one? I think that was just the 1 year sales. Yeah, I'm pretty sure because he's reporting on 1 year, not total sales. Okay, he aggregated that from a couple of years.
No. He gave both numbers when he did the report. He gave like the total and then how much it was, and I had to do some subtraction to figure out how much he'd done last year.
Regardless, huge number.
Subtraction.
Anyway, so then the number 2 sold game from his Scythe. And again, the bigger thing about noting this with Scythe selling 380,000 copies is it's Scythe. This isn't a card game. This isn't a $20 game. This is an $80 game or $60, whatever. It's pretty expensive. Yep. That's pretty impressive. So he gives a lot of numbers. You can go read all the different numbers, but it's very impressive. And like he tells how many e-newsletter subscribers he has, which is interesting because that's a stat I've never seen anybody like publicly talk about. So I don't know. I just find this sort of thing fascinating. I wish more people do it, but like Mr. Bonacor says, I completely understand why people don't. You don't see me putting the Dice Tower book.
Yeah, Tom, please. So what is your revenue in the Dice Tower? I mean, what are your revenue sources? How much do you make on Kickstarter versus your average? Never mind.
I'll tell you what.
I'll say this, Bonacor. I'll say this. I do cut my own hair. That should be an indicator.
That's an indicator.
Cut mine, so I guess there's information for you folks.
I do not cut my own hair.
Alrighty. Well, I'm surprised you let someone else touch it. He makes them sign a waiver.
They have to sign a waiver if they do a bad job. I sue them immediately. I've sued many people. Never mind.
Well, that's it, folks, for today's news. Thanks for watching.
Good morning there, Dice Tower fans. My name is Dave from GameFine, and welcome back to another Board Game Smash Up where I try to make a game a bit more spicy. Now, this video came about because I was watching Tom's look back videos. He said 2 games that I absolutely love, and I was like, wait, I could do something with that. First one, well, the one that we're going to be mainly focusing on is Magical Athlete. I love this roll and move game, and it is a roll and move game that I would play at any time. It's kooky, it's crazy, but the board is horrid, just super ugly. How do we make that a little bit better? Well, we take the Hare and Tortoise from the Game and Tail series from Yellow and make our own course. What am I talking about? Let me show you. So the first atrocity from Magical Athlete is they left half the art on the insert. I don't like that they do that. And the second one being that the board here is just bled. Looks like a mud fight commenced and whatever. It's 30 spaces. Now you'll still use the back of the board here for the first half, but we went ahead and made our own track. Now the track here is 10 spaces, so 30 spaces, you'll do 3 laps. I have gems of any assortment. Just take 2 from any game that you want and have it for each player. So when they pass this spot here, they'll take one, and then when they pass it again, they'll take the second one, and then at that point you'll put the finish line right there, and then the last time that they'll pass this spot, they win. And that's how I smashed up Magical Athlete and Heron Tortoise. So that's how I would smash up these two games. Let me know how you would smash up a game with Magical Athlete down in the comments below. And please, publishers, take Magical Athlete and republish it into a deluxe version with miniatures and a pretty board. That would make my day. But if you wanted to, you can come to my channel and check out more of these board game smash ups. Until the next time that I see everyone, have a great rest of your breakfast. And thank you so much, Tom, for letting me be on Board Game Breakfast. Bye.
Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Crowd Surfing Line Up. That's right, I'm bringing you projects that won't break your budget, but throw in a little something extra. Here's what I'm checking out this week. I love train games, and I love blinging out my games. Quelle coincidence! I found a link to the Little Plastic Train Company, which has a Kickstarter out right now for ways to upgrade your Ticket to Ride experience. If you like Ticket to Ride as much as I do, and that 10th anniversary set is one of my prized possessions, you're going to want to check this out. Now, they sent me a review copy of the Mercury, but there are 4 other sets out there. The Midnight Express, the General, an ode to Soviet cars, the Hornet, a quick look at diesel engines, and the classic Sunset. Let's talk about the Mercury. When you pop open the tin box, inside you'll find 48 pre-painted trains. That's 45 for your normal Ticket to Ride boxes, plus 3 extra just like in your standard game. You'll also have a unique scoring marker, and each one of the train sets has its own scoring marker. There's 5 different sets in the Kickstarter, and each box is only $19, but there's some ways to save some money if you package up a bunch. And there's a little bit of lagniappe. That 10 box, each one of those has unique artwork, and if you take the tin box right into your standard Ticket to Ride box, it fits perfectly in the hold. One more thing, I focused today on the Ticket to Ride game, but I tried it out with Irish Gauge, and the trains fit there too. The Kickstarter project says it works with Ticket to Ride, Irish Gauge, Ride the Rails, Whistle Stop, and many more. Hey, so that's the Kickstarter project for the Little Plastic Train Company, a way to bling out your train games and add a little razzle-dazzle to your rail line. Until next time, laissez les bon temps rouler.
All right, everybody, welcome to a game show. It is Mr. Bonagor against Mr. Garcia. Woo!
Destroy you.
Okay, well, I don't know what that is there, but
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Here's how this works. I'm writing my point values down so I remember them. I'm going to be asking you a numerical question, with a number answer.
Yes.
And you are going to guess, both of you, and I'm going to pick 4 random answers from people in the chat who guess. And then we'll reveal the correct answer, and whoever is the closest to the answer without going over wins. But here's how it works. If you're closer than everybody else, including your opponent, you'll get 5 points. If you're closer than 4 people, you get 4 points. If you're closer than 3 people, I'm giving you only 1 point. Otherwise, I start giving points to the people. 2 points and 3 points. Make sense?
Yes.
Not really, but go ahead.
I got it. I'm writing it down. I have a whole little breakdown here.
Some of my game shows in the past have been, we focused on negatives and annoyances. So today's going to be all positive.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's from the Guinness Book of World Records. All right.
What book of records?
Don't worry about it. It's about beer.
It's not about beer. I don't trust you.
All right. So first world record, and I might mispronounce every name today, and I apologize to these world record who I'm sure are watching the Dice Tower.
No,
so
I don't
first one here is Nilanshi Patel from India. She just got her hair cut just a few months ago. but she had the world record for the longest hair on a teenager. Her hair, they measured it, and then she got it cut and donated it to charity. How long was her hair? It was last July, just before her 18th birthday. And we're going to do this in feet and inches. Okay? We could have done centimeters too, but
No, please.
some of us are Americans, and that's confusing. So,
And we're just dumb. In feet and inches, how long was her hair on her 18th birthday?
so you're both going to guess. I'm going to take 4 from here. Man, someone already said meters. I cannot accept meters answers. All right. Let me get the people's choices. I'm going to write them down.
I got it.
All right. Okay, you both got your answers?
Yes.
I'm in.
All right. What do you have, Z?
I said 16 feet, 4 inches.
16 and 4.
I said 21 feet, 2.1 inches. I wanted to be very symmetrical there.
That's-
2.1 inches. If you're going to do that, you got to go with decimals.
That's fantastic.
What are you doing? You're killing me. Stick with a type of...
All right. The people said 11.5, 17, 7.2, and 16.5. Woo! Y'all are insane. All right. The actual answer is 6 feet, 6.7 inches.
Really?
It's not
You
that
would have to
crazy.
have someone walk with you to carry your hair if it was much longer than that.
Well,
Yeah.
people
Well,
do
we
crazy
figured,
things.
I mean, she's in some sort of Guinness Book of Records. I mean,
Yeah. Guinea's book, I think he said.
Oh,
I was
Guineas,
worried.
and
I was really
Guineas-
worried about what the implication of that was.
I figured
Well,
it had to be
give
something
0
monumental
I
to
was
get
gonna
in
give
there.
0 points to everyone, but give the people a point because it. Oh wait, never mind. I read the comments. They're also being rude. No points for anyone in that round. I was about to give them a point.
Oh, they're also
Who's
being
being
rude.
rude?
Oh, look at that. He took it away.
But the
No, no one is
Awesome.
being rude.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody said you guys haven't heard of Rapunzel. Come on, right? Yeah, thank you, Bonnie Crew. Right
It's
there.
not a real thing.
Rapunzel's a real thing.
real.
I've seen the movie.
Yeah,
Let's
several
talk-
times.
Let's talk about a world record that we care about.
There we go.
Otto, in his hometown of Lima, Peru. By the way, Otto's a dog. He glided through the legs of a certain number of people, setting a record for the longest human tunnel traveled through by a skateboarding dog. So the rules are each person in the tunnel has to stand facing the same direction and with their feet spread apart to allow this talented English bulldog to pass freely underneath without being led or touched in any way. So how many people did this dog go underneath in one shot on a skateboard?
The dog skateboarded underneath everyone's legs. That's what you're telling me. And this is a record.
It's on video. You can watch it after the show.
This is,
How many people did the dog skateboard under?
Wow.
I
Did the dog use his foot to skateboard? I wonder how
Yes,
it happened.
I think so. Yeah, he propels himself
How do you
either
know
with the
this?
leg or I've seen the video.
Oh, so you know the answers. That's not
I don't
fair.
know
You
the answer. You think I stopped to count the people? I was looking at the cute dog.
You've actually seen this video.
Yeah, I've seen the video, or at least
Oh.
one like it, of a little chubby bulldog on a skateboard, and I thought, oh, this is so cute. I really hope no one ever puts it on a game show because it'll be dumb.
Roy, I'm getting real close.
All right.
Another point off Z's score.
-2.
All right, what do we got? Are you ready? I got
Yeah.
the people's. Go ahead,
I'm
Mr.
ready.
Brandenburg.
Let's go. Here I go.
I got 50.
50. All right.
Probably gonna be a lot more, right?
Z,
I got 16 feet, 4 inches. Oh, no, wait. That's the old one. I got 63 for the
Oh,
doggy.
darn, that's close.
240, 26, 25, and 50. The actual answer, 30,
Oh, man.
which means the people get 3 points.
What a lazy doggy.
Give the people 3 points. All right, let's talk now about Jaden Ashman. Jaden Ashman, he is the youngest person to walk away from an esports tournament, Fortnite, with over $1 million in his pocket. So he's the youngest esports millionaire from a single tournament. He didn't even win. He came in second. All right. And he walked away with $1 million. So how old was he? So I want you to give this to me in years and days. So let's say you think he was 2 years and 65 days old. How many years and days was he old when he won $1 million from playing video games, thus proving his parents wrong, who said, you can't make a living on that?
I love how your suggestion was 2 years. Was it leapfrog tournament was going on?
No, I didn't want. I'm trying not to lead you in anywhere.
Play
I'm putting 2 years and 66 days.
Love it.
All right, I got the people's choices. A lot of them didn't bother to put days. Not sure why, but now they are.
Well, that's 0 days. They did put it. They're saving ink and paper.
All righty. Bonacker, you're first. What do you got?
I'm not first, but doesn't matter.
I can be first. I don't care.
15 years, 21 days. I like that 21 is kind of like cool number.
I've got 8 years.
No way.
62 days.
They don't got the reflexes at 8 years old. Come on. Come on.
People said 11 years and 40 days, 17 years and 2 days, 8 years and 13 years.
Yeah.
Actual answer, 15 years, 229 days.
Bonacore!
5 points for Mr. Bonacore.
I might have actually heard about this guy, and I think it was funny. I mean, one of these tournaments, one of the winners, or the guy who came in second, said something like, "Yeah, I'm not sure I can compete anymore. It's a sport for young people." That was a quote from somebody who was like this age or something like that. So it's crazy.
All right, let's
you
talk
need
about
to be really young.
Uplifting, and I'm serious about that. Aaron James fathering him. He was born in Las Vegas in 1991 with a condition known as spina bifida. Basically, it affects the spine and the spinal cord, and he was unable to walk. Mm-hmm. But as time went by, when he switched to a wheelchair, he started doing jumps. So he does stunt jumps in the wheelchair. So my question is, when he jumped, let's see, where's the thing here? How far, the longest wheelchair jump in history, how far did he jump? So there's actually a couple here. We'll go with the longest wheelchair ramp jump. So he used the ramp. How far did he jump? We'll do this in feet.
We're talking like Evel Knievel, right?
Yes.
Jump. Wow.
So it's it's not height, it's distance.
He's already done I'll tell you, he already did the height, and that was 60 centimeters, a foot and almost 2 feet.
Whoa,
he also did the highest wheelchair hand plant and the tallest quarter pipe drop.
Wow.
So this is very impressive, right? This is someone who's not going to give up. So.
Okay, so length in feet.
And this happened in 2018, by the way. The length of the feet, yes.
The length of the jump, I guess it's his own power too.
Ramp.
Wow.
Using a ramp, yeah.
On his own, and I'm sure it's on his own power. Wow. Whew. Plus going down a slope, I'm sure. Wow.
All right, I got the people's choice.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right, Z, we're gonna let you go first this time.
Hold on, let me get this down here.
I should. You know what? Changing my answer.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm ready. For it. Z.
I'm gonna say 10 feet 3 inches.
All right.
Just like Rapunzel's hair, it's 21 feet 2.1 inches. I had 16 feet 2.1. I'm like, no, you know what? He could have gone 21. 21 feet 2.1 inches. I probably got it right.
People said 45, but then one person said 21. So you're ahead of them by 0.21.
Okay.
13 and 8. Actual answer, 70 feet.
What?
However, Mr. Bonneker, you were ahead of everyone except one. So that's another 4 points for you. But the people also got 2 points.
Because of me?
Because of Z, yes.
I'm
suck.
a dummy.
You kind of suck at this.
That is 70? How many? 70?
70 feet. 21.35 meters.
Man.
Wow.
Probably and then like
That's
amazing.
amazing.
But no motor. That's great. Amazing. I wouldn't do it. I'd be too
Can't
scared
make
to
that
do it.
jump on literally any vehicle. I mean, I couldn't do it on a motorcycle. I couldn't do
No.
it. I'd be
No.
eating floor for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I
think
I
a week
wouldn't
is
do it
kinda
in a
nice
car.
there.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it would be just a week.
I don't think it would kill me, Tom. I think it would be like a week till I finally can pick myself up and be like, ow.
Ow.
I'm saying you'd be in the hospital for months. But anyhow.
I'm talking about literally on the floor. Like, don't touch me, don't touch me.
I'm pretty sure somebody, yeah. Leave me here. All right. Let's go to something that is not nearly as important, but that I found interesting. I want to know the largest margarine sculpture. So this was, I saw a picture of it. It was made by someone in India in 2017. I'll even tell you the dimensions because I'm asking for the weight of it.
Weight. Okay.
It was a length of 8 feet 2 inches, a width of 3 feet 8 inches, and a height of 6 feet 1 inch. So it's 8 by 4 by 6. But I want you to tell me in
6
pounds.
feet. Wait, what was it again? Say that again.
It was 8 by 4 by 6.
Yeah. Feet. All feet.
So how many pounds did this thing weigh? Also, why would you use margarine in such fashion?
I mean, why is there a record for this? I mean, I'm sure it's an amazing feat to sculpt margarine. Why would one do this and have a record for it? And have a record for it?
I don't know. All right.
That's like, just put that in perspective. That's 200 cubic feet almost of margarine. Oh my God. Yeah, I had to calculate that.
It's 180.
All right, and we are looking for weight in.
Oh no, you're right. Sorry, I did my math
Almost 200 cubic feet. A little
Yeah,
less.
it's
Like 196 or something.
1 pounds, yes?
Yes, in
Yeah.
pounds.
Pounds. Go ahead. Oh wait, let me get the people.
Hold on, I don't know yet. How many cubic feet did you say, Steve?
About 192, 200 cubic feet.
All right, so I just have to figure out how much a cubic feet.
Yes, I should have done this.
Of margarine
Why am I
is,
doing?
yes.
Why am I doing this math for you?
You're sitting there. You're like, okay, so a stick of margarine weighs that. So if I had about 1 million of these,
it's got to be.
It's got to be maybe so. I'm gonna go with.
All right. Who's first on this one?
Z. I've been first every time.
That's not quite true. But
All right. I'll go first if he's right. It doesn't matter.
All right, here I go. So I got my math here. It's got to be about 4 pounds, maybe more. Anyway, 622 pounds is what I'm going with.
622 pounds. All right,
You're
Mr.
way
Bonner.
off. It's 1,121 pounds.
All right, so the people said
No idea.
95,
I'm lowballing it.
3,000,
So.
123, and 800.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta get this. Come on.
Actual answer, 3,321.925 pounds.
This whole lowballing it so I don't go over thing is really not working out for me.
Not working.
Mr. Bonneker, you beat everyone but one person, so you get 4 points added to your score, bringing you up to 13. Z, you beat three people were ahead of you, so you get you get the people 2 more points.
Yeah,
I like the people. That's the difference here. Steven is playing for himself. I'm playing for all of us.
Voice of the people. All right, here we go. Let's talk about Bruce Masters has a record that Mr. Bonacker would like to accomplish. His world record is he has visited in his life the most pubs and various drinking establishments.
I'm second in this category. You look very closely at the Guinness World Book. I'm number 2. I'm going to work on number 1.
To visit them, he has to visit them and sample the local brew if available there. This record was as of January 2014, so he's either dead or for alcohol poisoning,
Oh my
or
gosh. He didn't do it in like a day. It's okay. He's fine. The man has a liver. I hope he's probably okay.
how many pubs did he go to? That's what I
Total number
want.
of pubs that he has visited and sampled a brew.
12.
12. Yeah, you might want to add some zeros there.
How many pubs are there, possibly? I mean,
Are you kidding me? Come
See,
on.
you were there when we drove
many-
down the street. We saw like 10 and
How many pubs are in your neighborhood, dude? Every local bar is a pub. Every Buffalo Wild Wings would be considered a pub. Probably. I'm assuming it's
I don't
a beer.
know,
It's
Steven.
got local
Okay, I
beer.
don't drink. I don't.
Well,
I
yes,
don't.
well, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, never mind.
Would a library be a pub? I attend to those. Public library.
oh, the People's Choice is coming in. I'm going to start writing them down. I'm going to start right there. All righty.
Uh,
All right. I'm
This
ready.
time, Bonacker, you're first. So just take what you have and multiply it times 2. It probably works.
21,210 pubs.
Wow.
It's a lot of pubs. But this is a record. Bonaccor's number 2.
What did you say, Z?
I said right here, 6,333.
There you go.
All right,
That's
the people said 786, 10,435, 5,280, and 1,423.
I'm high man.
You are the high man. The actual answer? 46,495. Which,
Maybe
using
this
my
guy is
calculator,
dead.
if he went to 8 a day, every day, it would still take almost 16 years to do that, going to 8 a day.
He probably went to more than 8 a day.
He was
Well,
probably just like, did he have a job?
No.
Maybe it's that local.
His
start-
job
we'll
was
start with that.
inspector of
No.
pub inspector.
And he probably did not have a beer in each one. He had to sample. So he'd order a beer, taste it, next pub. That's
Run? I mean,
well,
I don't
you'd be surprised in a metropolitan in London. I mean, there are pubs and pubs and pubs and pubs on every block.
try to justify
Yeah, but he
this.
has to travel for 40-some thousand. He's got to travel to other places.
He's all of England, or
Every
something
day
like that.
he travels is a day he can't go. I don't understand. That sounds
Anyway, it's
kind of miserable. This guy took
I'm-
something that's supposed to be fun and turned it into work.
I'm in awe of him, and I'm going to become him.
Gets 5 points, but Z gets 1 point.
This guy is ever on an organ donor list. Folks, do not do it. He's just going to flush that money right down the toilet.
Alrighty.
Don't do it.
Sometimes I complain about the prices of food when I go out, but that's mostly because I have many children. However, hot dogs. You ever buy a hot dog amusement park? It can be quite pricey. But I want to know, and of course, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, what is the most expensive hot dog commercially available? So that means it's not some special thing some chef made somewhere. You could go buy this. The place that it was sold was from the Tokyo Dog food truck in Seattle, Washington. Now, they did give all the money they made from this to charity, but let me tell you what was on this. It's a foot-long Frankfurter, and it has smoked cheese bratwurst, butter teriyaki grilled onions, maitake mushrooms, wagyu beef, foie gras, shaved black truffles,
Foie gras.
caviar, and Japanese mayonnaise.
You really want to
Foie
pronounce
gras?
everything. Yeah, he really wants to pronounce everything wrong today.
You know what?
Dude, you trying, though? At this point, I feel like you're messing with us, Tom.
I don't know how to pronounce foreign
Foie-
words.
Foie
Foie
gras.
gras? You don't know how to say foie gras, man? Come on.
No,
What about
For,
pate?
for a guy like you that likes to eat as much as you like to eat, you know,
I-
fine.
I'm gonna
Menus-
mispronounce the dollar value.
Guys.
How about
Dollar value of this Wagyu beef bratwurst foie gras hot dog.
it's gonna be several dollars.
It's going to be more than,
You got like a drink with it when you bought it.
you know, when you're at Disney World and they charge you $12 for that hot dog. That's cheap.
If you get a beer with this hot dog, does that count as a pub?
It would.
I think they should give you the beer for free at that point.
Right? I
Uh,
don't know.
I got the people's choice.
Oh, and this was in Japan, you said, right?
No, it's from the Tokyo Dog Food Truck, but it's in Seattle, Washington.
Oh, that changes everything.
I don't know. This is so weird. I'm gonna go nuts on this one. Here we go.
All right. You're first, Zeke. Go ahead.
It's gonna be $602.
All right. Mr. Bonnegar?
$100.21.
Now, baby, I'm going crazy.
All right. The people said $499. 100. Once again, Mr. Bonnegar beats it by 21 cents. $325 and $265. Actual answer, $169.
Come on.
Giving Bonnegar another 5 points.
I'm the GOAT on this game here. The greatest of all time. Bonnecar. The
Right.
GOAT of
And
Guinness.
he gives the people another 2 points.
I'll be the goose.
The GOAT of dumb Guinness stats. Bonnecar.
All right. So counting in the point I took away from Mr. Bonnegar for rudeness, he has 23 points. The people have 9 points.
Right.
And
What
Zeke
happened?
has 1.
How did I get a point? Was it a pity point?
Yeah.
No, I'm not giving out pity points. In fact, I'm being vicious today.
No, but I don't think I earned a point. If I did, I would like you to take it away.
You did on the
I really don't feel like I deserve a single point.
How
just so
much?
you know, they sold them for 169. They sold 5 that day when they had put these on sale, and all the money went to charity. Some local businessmen came in and bought them.
Very
Yeah.
nice. That's very, very
Nice.
And that would be a delicious hot dog. I might go get one when I'm in Seattle, or not.
Let's
Where's
go,
the hot
Steve.
dog? I'm on my way to go to the next pub.
Let's
give,
do it.
Give me that hot dog.
Let's
I have
do it.
8 pubs to get to today.
You know what, Steven? You buy me one of these hot dogs, I'll cut your hair. Let's do it.
You have to sign a contract.
Well, that's
okay.
it. Congratulations, Mr. Bonnegar is finally back on top.
Can I lose a few more points by insulting you some more today? I would like to do that.
All right.
It's only 1 point per insult.
You'll
I like
still
it.
be in the lead. Yeah,
I know.
You can let off, and you'll still be in the lead.
All righty, we got a few more contributors, folks. Here we go.
Hello, my name's Dan, this is Cora, and we're here today to talk to you about board games for children and families. We're here to talk to you about 2 games we've been playing recently, aren't we? And what's kind of special about these 2 games.
Well, they're kind of sequels to other games that we've played in, like, before.
And the first game we're going to talk about is, well, Cora, are you in the mood for a party? Woo! Woo! Party?
Party llama.
Party llama. Party llama. It's like llama, but it's a party! Woo, woo. Happy birthday to you. You got this for your birthday?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
There's a few new rules and cards, and
Yeah, because
it's still as simple as before.
I think what it does is make llama even more kind of a little bit swingy.
Yeah.
So a little bit kind of suddenly you're losing and then suddenly you start winning, or suddenly you...
Now you're losing again.
Now you're losing again. Exactly, things like that. Which, many games that might not work, but the llama, it works really well because that's half the fun of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So...
And it's also funny.
It's also funny, and it kind
Especially when you, like, mess up what somebody else wanted to do and made them get loads of points. They're like, no!
That's it. And that kind of emphasises that, and I think that's why it's called a party, because it makes that kind of party atmosphere. The other game we've been playing a lot is this.
Marvel Splendor.
Marvel Splendor. Now, you're relatively... Well, you've been playing Splendor for a while, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you like Splendor?
Yeah.
What do you think about normal Splendor compared to Marvel Splendor?
Well, Marvel Splendor has, like, all the superheroes in it, and Like, so it's fun to look at all the pictures of the different Avengers.
Don't you like
villains
looking at pictures of merchants selling jewels? I thought all 9-year-olds love looking at pictures of merchants selling jewels in Renaissance Europe. Is that not right? Oh. Go on, I interrupted you, go on.
Yeah, you've got the pictures of villains, heroes, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's fun to look at, like, see what different superheroes you've got in your...
Yeah,
what would you call it?
Tableau, you call it. That's what they call it. It's a lot more fun.
That's Dad trying to be fancy.
I am very fancy. I'm not trying to be fancy. I am very fancy. I'm a very, very, very fancy, classy individual.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really like Splendor, and I really like Marvel Splendor. Yeah, so I think that's what we got to say, really, is 2 kind of sequels to games. Probably things that, if you've already got one, you might not need the other. Which one would you buy, Llama or Party Llama?
If I've played both of them, probably Party Llama, because you got Llama and more.
Yeah. And what about Splendor or
Probably
Marvel Splendor?
Probably Marvel Splendor, since, well, I like Marvel.
Yeah, and me too. So, there you go. So thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex, and today I'd like to recommend the great new game, Quetzal, the City of Sacred Birds. I like this game a lot. I'm still not sure why it's called the City of Sacred Birds. There are no birds in the game. You are not playing as birds. You're not playing against birds. City of Sacred Birds, no birds.
Well, I'm a bird. Can I play?
No, there's no birds. I like Quetzal because it's a worker placement that plays very quickly. This takes 5 minutes to set up, and you can play it in 45 minutes, which is great. So many worker placement games take forever. You know, it's more than 45 minutes just to set them up, and I ain't got that kind of time in my life, okay? No thank you. You taking up too much of my day. I'm playing Quetzal. In Quetzal, you will be rolling a set of meeples to figure out whether they land on the black side or the white side. Some spots on the board require white workers, other spots require black workers. Some of the spots simply have to pay coins to take this location, where in other spots you will have to place workers and bid the amount that you want, but beware, because another player can come around, bid higher than you, and kick you off of the spot. There are a lot of worker placement games out there, and it feels very hard to do something different and original in that genre. But I'll say, with the combination of rolling meeples and bidding on locations, this game feels unique. Now, rolling the meeples definitely adds a luck element to the game, but I don't mind that because luck makes things exciting. Yeah, what's gonna happen? You know, that's why there's songs written about luck, because luck is exciting. Luck, be a lady tonight. There's no songs written about predictability. Those songs would be boring and predictable.
Hallelujah, everybody. Everybody.
Stephen Bonner.
Everybody wants to
Okay, we're
be
live.
a cat.
Let's do it. Go.
All right, folks. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for watching our episode today.
I will be back for my revenge.
I did a quick calculation about Rapunzel's hair there. And
Well, thanks for watching this time. Until next time.
18 years, and it grows a quarter of an inch a week, and is, 900 week, and 9.75 feet would be the longest it could have been. I did it.
It's not possible. Baby's hair does not grow that fast.
I'm just giving you the maximum. I don't know. Some mutant baby grew really fast. I don't know. Anyway, who are we, Tom?
I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. I'm sorry, folks.
And I apologize for these guys. I'm the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacor.
What are you apologizing for us?
Because you're not
Have
good at
fun
the game.
Eating expensive hot dogs.